Welcome to another Railroads Online video. Today is gonna be a few updates on two main topics. First up, the next expected update for Railroads Online, and also a few things that I learned talking to one of the games moderators on Reddit. And secondly, the next big topic that I want to give you guys an update on is my ongoing PC issues. Likely less interesting for you guys, so I'll be putting that towards the end. Just note that this has been the reason why I haven't uploaded anything recently, and why also this video is in a bit of a different style, not in-game, just talking over some images. There are a few teasers coming up, but apart from that, just a few background images so that the screen isn't black. But yeah, it's an ongoing issue, and I don't know if I'll even be able to fix my PC for the next update. And that being said, let's now finally get into Railroads Online. The next update is going to be dropping on December 11th, so less than a week from now. I think it's next Monday. And from what I expect here, it's not going to be the maps update. That's still scheduled on the roadmap for the first quarter of 2024. I think what we are going to get here is the next few industries in the wheat farm supply chain, and also a few new cars, possibly engines, who knows. There are a few teasers out here that I quickly want to go through. In terms of new industries, we have this image, which clearly shows us a new building. It's just a huge, complex brick building with a chimney. So that's definitely a new industry, but I don't really know from this image what it is going to be. So nothing really too much to speculate here. From what I can tell, having the wheat farm as the first industry in the new chain, we could go either down the road of going towards a mill and then a bakery, so putting the grain into the mill, getting flour, and having that turned into bread and other pastries, whatever. Or go towards a cattle farm and then maybe slaughterhouse and get some meat. I don't know what this one will fit into. I guess any of those industries would be possible to fit in there. And I think it's possible that we will also get another industry update, that whatever we are getting with the next update, maybe the other thing that I just talked about will be in the one after or something. So I guess this is going to be a very spending thing where additional parts will be added later down the line. But yeah, right now, apart from this building, there isn't really too much else to see here, apart from the area itself being kind of interesting. This is the place that I scouted out for my custom industry placements, and this is west of the big lake in Lake Valley. There's a cliff face which you can already see here in the background, which is kind of a border between the flatter southern parts of the map and the more uphill plateaus to the north. And let me tell you, this place is barely big enough for an industry. Not really too much in terms of placing a station next to it. And getting in and out of that valley is gonna be a huge pain. So I'm curious if they are going to change that whole area as well, like we did with the northern part in the last update. We'll have to find out. I would absolutely love to take a closer look at that myself, but until my PC is fixed, I don't think there's too much I can do. So yeah, this is all I can talk about here. So let's talk about the other image they leaked regarding the cars, which is this one over here. We have two new types of cars in this picture. First up, in the background, we can see another type of boxcar with barred up windows. I don't know if it's going to be another car for cattle transportation. We already have another boxcar that would be well suited for that. Could also be a refrigerator unit, or just another car as a variant for general tool crate and similar types of stuff transportation. Always depends on how we are going to use it. I don't really know what it's going to supposed to be. Could be anything, and the same is with two gondola cars that we can see in front of that. Apparently, from what I heard, this would be used for water transportation, but I don't know how that would fit into the game to begin with. First up, we already have tanker cars that could potentially also be used for water instead of oil. And also just the fact that we can put down water towers wherever we please on this map, so I don't really see much of a reason to transport water across industries to begin with. There might be something like a distillery, so if we get the bakery or something, we would need to transport cleaned water from the distillery to the bakery for it to be put into food items. That would be one way to handle this, but if it's just any regular type of water, just pump station near a river, then I don't see why it would need to be in this game. It would be not that sensible. Another thing that I could see happening would be if we go down the line of getting stuff from the wheat farm to a cattle farm to maybe feed cows or something and then put them into one of the cattle cars for the slaughterhouse. I could maybe see us also transporting some, how do I put it, some fecal matter into some cars and pulling those back to the wheat farm for fertilizer. I think there would be another option here, but I don't really know. So remains to be seen, and as we've seen with some of the cars, they're not always used in the same way that you would expect them to be used in real life. So some of them are kind of misappropriated from what I heard, but we'll see what these are being used for in the end. So another thing that's kind of huge, the things that I heard from the game moderator on Reddit. I just made a post in one of the threads from somebody interested in the game asking if anybody would recommend it. And my answer sadly at this point had to be no, due to all the issues that have been introduced with the latest updates and that's the quality of the game in general. I put out a few examples, and one of the moderators of the game itself had something to say about that, and that also sheds some light on the stuff that we can expect in the near future. First up, they are finally working on coal engines. So those have been introduced in March, which has been quite a while ago, more than half a year, and now they are finally balancing the stuff so it doesn't feel like you can run those engines indefinitely. They always had limited amounts of coal in them, but those range from between 1,000 to 6,000 shovels, depending on the exact engine and tender. And yeah, those are way too much. So I hope they increase the burn rate so that we need to shovel a lot more coal out, and then it will be a lot more noticeable that the coal is actually draining. Maybe a few units less would be appropriate, but I would hope that if they increase the burn rate, it's not just gonna be the same capacity in the boiler, but instead maybe double up how much coal we can put in the boiler to begin with, and maybe up the amount of coal that is used by 5 times, so we would still have to shovel a lot more coal into there, but we don't just have to constantly get one shovel in after the next one, but also be able to put a bit more into that at a time. That's at least my idea here, and just pure speculation. We'll have to see how they're going to handle it once that part of the update comes out. I don't know if it's going to be with the next one, but another thing that they also talked about that they finally fixed internally are the brakes. So brakes for the longest time, for a few months now, have been either completely on 100% whenever you put it onto anything but 0, or they have been completely open. So more of a binary thing instead of actually just being able to pull a brake to 50% or whatever other values you wanted to. And apparently internally they finally fixed it. From what I heard, it wasn't really an issue with Unreal Engine, but more that they changed the way physics worked from, I don't know what it used to be, the old version, to chaos physics, and that just requires a different script in order to make it work. But whatever it is, it's finally going to be fixed according to Goku. So that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. And yeah, that would be a huge shift in quality if we get these major things finally adjusted, and we'll see what it's gonna be once it all comes out. Apart from that, the last topic I have about Railroads Online today is the whole hotfix situation. So the hotfixes for the wiki update have been live for a while now, and I managed to get a bit of testing in before my PC shut down. And for my testing, the trees on Pine Valley are fixed for older saves. Saves that have been made before the wiki update. I made sure to just anything that I saved after that was a copy and not just overwriting the original file. But on the copies, the ones that have been made later, even after one or two of the hotfixes, the story is very different. I don't know if I could even remove the trees right now, if that is still bugged, but definitely there are a lot of trees that shouldn't be there, especially on my speed testing file, where I made sure to remove all the trees to begin with, but right now, if I were to go back in into that save file that I made after the wiki update, those would still be there, and I don't know if I could even remove them anymore. So my suggestion to any of you guys who are looking forward to the next update, once that comes out, please make sure to make a copy of your save file that you had from before that update and not just overwrite it, because you may need that as a backup to fall back into. And to be clear, with trees now kinda being fixed, I could finally get back onto the MIA playthrough. And once I get my PC fixed, that's actually the next thing that I would want to do, because I wasn't too happy on the Lake Valley map that doesn't have... I mean, it has partially something to do with my industry placement there, but also just with the map itself and the changes there. I don't even know if those are finished. So yeah, I would rather continue playing on the old version, especially on the old map, especially with more industries coming out and me still having a few ideas for where I wanted to place them. So we'll have to see about that, and yeah, I'll be getting back to you on that topic once I have something to say there. But yeah, that would be the continuation of save file there and my whole series. But yeah, first up I need to fix my PC, and I think that's kind of a segue into the next topic. My PC issues started shortly after the wiki update, and those are really not linked to the wiki at all, or to the update in general. It's just that my PC randomly started shutting down, just going black screen and then rebooting. I thought I had an issue with my power supply unit, that maybe the game being so poorly optimized that my power supply is maybe slightly faulty, and the game just asks too much of my PC that the power supply cannot deliver, and therefore shut down, reboot. Didn't seem to get worse for the most time, but then yeah, at some point it just completely shut off, wouldn't shut back or wouldn't boot back on. And thanks to a few friends, I was able to narrow it down to it likely being the power supply unit. I did a few other changes, like adjusting the voltage thresholds on the BIOS, and also a few timings for the RAM and something like that, just to maybe get the power usage down. I also lowered the graphics setting on the game. Didn't work out too well. I mean, for the most time I thought it was fixed, but then after coming to the conclusion that maybe I should just not play Railroads Online for a while until I have it fixed for sure. Eventually I played some Baldur's Gate. The PC just completely shut down and just doesn't want to boot even into Windows again. After actually buying a new power supply, and this is really kinda annoying. Last Wednesday I wanted to make this video on the new PC. Then it just completely bricked itself and I couldn't record anymore. I immediately bought a new power supply, which was set to either arrive on Thursday or Friday. I thought Thursday was a bit ridiculous to be that quick, but instead of Friday, I got it on Tuesday, so for me that's yesterday. And lo and behold, it fixed nothing, which is why I'm currently making this video, because if I had a quick fix for this whole thing, I would just do that and get back to my new PC instead of just trying to get the old one into a more usable state. But yeah, waited for almost an entire week for the new power supply to arrive, and then it didn't even fix the thing that I was hoping for. At that point I kind of thought this would be the case, but well, from a bit further investigation, it seems to be the main board. Like in my old PC, it's a mainboard from Gigabyte. And considering the issues I had with my old PC and assembling that back then, because the mainboard back then was quite faulty and just didn't even boot into BIOS at all, which is a whole different story. I wish I remember that this was a Gigabyte thing, because then I wouldn't have bought another Gigabyte mainboard to begin with. This mainboard worked well for 3 months, but now I'm experiencing what's other people have called the Gigabyte boot looping. And it's apparently a whole issue with a lot of their motherboards had. So right now I'm in the camp of just buying another replacement motherboard. And then once the old motherboard is out, I will try to get a refund. I do absolutely not want to have a replacement for this Gigabyte motherboard, at least not from the guy where I got the motherboard to begin with. I want something from another brand. I'm done using Gigabyte, and yeah, honestly, after this thing has worked for 3 months and then completely shut down, I wouldn't trust my PC having another one of those Gigabyte mainboards in there to begin with. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get get another motherboard from somebody else, and then I'll try to get the refund from Gigabyte. And I don't know. I would rather swallow the additional cost if I cannot get rid of that one, instead of having to deal with the same issue possibly coming up in a while again. But we'll have to see how that all goes. So yeah, that is what it is currently. I'll be looking up a proper replacement in a moment, and likely just getting the thing ordered either today or tomorrow. But considering how long it took for the other one or for the power supply to arrive, I don't expect it to be on time, and therefore I'll likely be able to play on the PC again after the next Rose Online update drops. Which kind of means that it's almost an entire month with me having these issues, but well, having spent multiple days on trying to get everything fixed, trying to apply different BIOS updates, driver updates, what have you, that kind of stuff, and just really getting in depth with researching the entire topic. I've just been tired of this thing. And looking at the current issue, what it seems to be, I don't think anything but a replacement will do it. And again, I would rather try my luck with another brand at this point. I'm absolutely, completely burnt on Gigabyte. And I should have been since I assembled the last PC, and let me quickly explain what the issue was with that. I got all the parts back then, I assembled the PC, and it wouldn't even boot into BIOS. I asked a friend for some help, and we deducted that it must be the motherboard. And I actually took a closer look at it. There were 2 open solder points on the old one, but back then I thought, hey, maybe the same thing is used for a different model where you actually need those holes, and they just had it cheaper making one version for multiple, or one board for multiple versions of the main board. But it turned out the thing that it didn't connect, having those solder points open, was the battery. And without the battery, you cannot boot into BIOS, so that kind of explained the whole thing. But back then, yeah, I thought it was not the issue. I just sent back the mainboard to the seller and got a replacement, with also had the same points open and the same issue of the thing not booting up. I sent back the thing, and well, suddenly, instead of it taking 1 or 2 weeks, which was the case with the first replacement, they took the full 4 weeks that they are allowed to for the whole process to take. And then they told me that I sent in a working unit. Nothing was broken about it. There were no issues with it, and suddenly the motherboard worked. Guess what changed? They closed the solder points. And suddenly everything worked as it should, no problem at all anymore. The only issue I was facing at that point, every time I sent back the mainboard, I made sure to include everything that was in the original package. So any booklet, any instructions, and also the SATA cables. And the last time that damn thing came back, they didn't include the SATA cables anymore. So I had to write the seller again, which now asked me to threaten that I should possibly pay them for abusing the process, because apparently, again, they said that nothing was faulty about my motherboard. But they, even though they said that, yeah, this process is completely unusual, we usually don't provide anything like that, but they made sure to send me some SATA cables. And in response to them asking for more money for this entire thing, I just told them about the open solder points, and then that was the last thing I heard of them. So yeah. That PC, the old one, has been working pretty well ever since, but yeah, I should have stayed away from Gigabyte to begin with. I'll make sure to remember this time around though. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for listening, I guess, and see you guys next time. And I forgot. I actually had another picture up for this, and I was supposed to switch over to this one, describing the whole PC situation, but completely forgot. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one, and see you next time. Don't know when that it's gonna be. I'll try fixing my PC beforehand, and then we'll see what's gonna come out as. I have a bit more trust in a motherboard replacement fixing the entire problem. With a PSU, I wasn't too sure, but it sounded like it would be a good solution. But yeah, sadly it wasn't. So yeah, see you whenever. Till then, have a good one. Bye bye. Damn it, wrong button.